Media all set? Great. Thank you all for joining for our community briefing. I have with me here Deputy Mayor Owens, Lateef Johnson-Kinsey from our Mayor's Office to Reduce Gun Violence, and Chief Joe Cecil. You'll be hearing from all of them in a little bit. So just to go over the agenda real quick, we will do our health update, in this case, our summer health update, which we always do, thanks to Dr. Katie Anderson and the Onondaga County Health Department team. We'll cover our CompStat data, as again we always do, give an update on school zone traffic enforcement, our online residential and commercial permitting process, quick update on trash and recycling carts and some of the safety metrics associated with that still relatively new program. And then we want to talk about CDLs, and we'll open it up to questions. So on the health front, a number of things that I just want to cover. Number one, I think any of us that have spent any amount of time outside know there are mosquitoes around. And in addition to being a pest, can create serious health issues. So we've had 2 Onondaga County residents that have been hospitalized because of mosquito-related infections, those being related to Eastern equine encephalitis and West Nile virus. So those are the 2 major concerns. No issues in the city yet, but obviously still something that we're very conscious of. So just want to encourage people to use EPA-approved repellents when you're spending time outside. Of course, within your yard in the area that you control, keeping any standing water out of there is also helpful. Rabies, something that we don't hear a lot about, but the county health department did want us to encourage us to mention it. So they've been getting increased reports of bites coming from bats, cats, dogs, and other wild animals. And so just want to remind folks that if you are bitten, please seek medical care to address the issues. Certainly don't want to see anybody end up with rabies or any other avoidable injuries. Measles, something that you wouldn't think we'd be talking about in 2025, but we are. Thankfully, no reported cases of measles here in Onondaga County, but cases have been identified in other parts of New York and throughout the country. So just want to encourage parents to make sure your children are up to date with their MMR vaccines. Finally, again, 'tis the season, although these days it's almost becoming, it really is a year-round issue, tick-borne diseases. I think the difference, of course, this time of year is not only is the environment ripe for ticks, but we're spending more time outdoors. So this is really peak activity for peak season for tick activity. And of course, the related illnesses, Lyme disease being the most prevalent. And just to encourage folks to take preventative measures, check yourself for ticks when you're outside, wear protective clothing wherever possible, and use tick repellents. And of course, if you do find a tick on you or your pet for that matter, remove it promptly and seek medical care as appropriate. So those are the main issues the County Health Department raised. You can find information on these issues and other health concerns on the county's website, ongov.net/health. All right, shifting to crime stats. So I'm going to go over our CompStat statistics and then turn it over to both Chief Cecil and Lateef to dig a little bit deeper into them. We always provide an update on our crime stat report. We do want to dig a little bit deeper today, given the significant reduced crime statistics that we're seeing. So first, I want to look at year over year. The graph that you're looking at, which is on our CompStat report, which we publish weekly on our website. So just go to syr.gov, type CompStat into the search bar, and again, you can find the latest CompStat report as well as previous CompStat reports. So year over year, as you can see, virtually all blue. Last week it was all blue. We saw a little uptick in robberies, 2 more this year than the same time last year. So that is slightly up. But when you look at the numbers, homicides down 33.3%. We have violent crime overall, down 18% year over year. Property crime down 29.2%. Want to give specific attention to stolen vehicles, which is down year over year, 51.7%. So overall, Part 1 crime down year over year, more than 27%. So that is significant. Looking at the 5-year average, comparing current statistics, also important to get a broader perspective. And what you're seeing this year compared to the 5-year average, again, is is a downward trend. So a few that I want to call out: overall crime, Part 1 crime this year compared to the 5-year average, down 11.3%. Violent offenses are down 25.7%, and property crime down 7.1%. Again, I want to point to stolen vehicles. That has been a significant contributor to property crime over the past 5 years, really past few years, but we are seeing improvements there. So our goal in sharing this information is not to declare victory, not to let our guard down. One homicide, one crime is one too many in the city of Syracuse. And for those that have been victims to crime, these numbers don't matter. And we're very sensitive to that. But it is important to be open and transparent with the data to inform people's opinions and also their actions. And again, we're seeing positive, significant downward trends. I also want to give the context within the national landscape, because as is usually the case, our trends tend to align with other cities across the country. And the good news for other cities across the country is we are seeing nationwide these crime statistics on a downward trajectory. But even when compared to the national averages, we are often significantly lower, in some cases almost or over more than double. So homicides, again, the national average down 17%, we're down 33%. Aggravated assaults nationally down 10%. Here in Syracuse, down 22%, and motor vehicle thefts, which we've talked a lot about, down 25% nationally, 52% here in Syracuse. So again, positive news, something that we're going to continue to work on every day. I want to acknowledge all of our partners. Certainly Chief Cecil and his team at SPD, our officers, are working incredibly hard, being proactive, policing the right way, and we're very grateful for them and proud of the work that they do. You'll hear more from Lateef about our community partners. The idea of the Mayor's Office to Reduce Gun Violence was to bring together all of our community violence intervention groups and other community-based organizations and create a more systemic approach to community violence intervention. And all of our partners deserve credit, as does the community for their role, whether it's reporting crimes, helping to solve crimes. Again, this is a team effort. I do want to acknowledge our partners really at every level of government. Certainly, the Common Council is critical to ensuring that we have the resources we need. County government, state and federal government, we all work really well together. We have a Syracuse Onondaga County gun violence reduction coalition that meets regularly, and again, all of those levels of government are at the table for those meetings and for all of the work that we do. I want to give a specific shout out to Governor Hochul. Every time I talk to Governor Hochul, the first question she asks is about crime, and she has been very helpful in directing a lot of resources to the city of Syracuse that have assisted us in these efforts. So with that, again, I want to turn it over to our subject matter experts who have been on the front lines of this work, starting with Syracuse Police Chief Joe Cecil. Chief.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. The slide you're going to see up here first, for me anyways, is it's a very critical slide for us because, again, as the mayor mentioned, these are not just numbers. If you look at the specific numbers on these, on the side there, those aren't just numbers. Those are people that were either shot and injured or shot and killed. And why we put this stat up here is not to, as the mayor said, to declare victory, but to show that we never stop trying to reduce our numbers. Our numbers last year in 2024 were low. You can see it by the green arrow, or I'm sorry, the green line, 46 individuals shot and either injured or killed. But we didn't stop there and say, wow, great year. Let's just stop working. We continue to work hard. The officers continue to work hard, the detectives, and we drove the number down to the point where we are now. We're 2 individuals lower than last year, which was our very lowest year in the last 10 years. I want to draw your attention also to the dotted lines. The blue dotted line is the 5-year average at 88. We're 50% lower than that right now. And the black dotted line is the 10-year average, which is at 81. So we're about 45% lower than that. Again, not in just numbers. We're lower in people actually being shot and killed, which means fewer families standing around either a hospital bed or a coffin. So these are very important numbers for us because they translate into victims. actual people. And again, as the mayor said, we're not declaring victory here, but we just continue to push forward and try to drive our numbers down. And I want to tell you how we do it. We do it with proactive work, proactive policing, which starts with the patrol officers on the front lines. We have some outstanding commanders out there right now. I'm talking about captains and lieutenants who oversee these patrol divisions, which have very young officers. And they're very good, the commanders, at motivating these officers to try to get ahead of the crime and not just chase it. They push them all the time to be motivated. And I can't say enough about the young officers themselves. Very young officers, but they're all motivated, they're eager, they're engaged. They're getting out of their cars more often than ever before, whether it's during Cobra curves, bike patrols, or officer-initiated stops. And this proactive work is what prevents crimes and drives these numbers down. It all comes down to time. If we give the cops time to be proactive, they will be proactive. We track Cobra curves all the time on a weekly basis. For those of you who don't know Cobra curve, this is a strategy where 3 times during the shift, or more if they have time, an officer in his or her territory will step out of the car at a specific location that's been given to them because of some crime trend, whether it's gun violence, burglaries, robberies, assaults, anything. It could even be larcenies from vehicles or stolen vehicles. They get out of their car 3 times per shift for 20 minutes and walk a beat, trying to engage with citizens and business owners and anyone who might have an idea. The idea is not to prevent, well, the idea is twofold: to prevent the crime and trend from occurring, but also to see if they can glean some information from people who live in the neighborhood or work in the neighborhood about why this trend is occurring, so they can push the investigation further forward and possibly solve the crime and stop it completely. Those Cobra curves, just so to give you an idea, last week the officers did 76 of those, in addition to everything else they're doing. There's also self-initiated stops that go beyond the Cobra curves. These are stops of people in cars that are suspicious for some reason, and they did 191 of those in the last week. All this proactive work is being done, and I don't want to leave the detectives from our criminal investigation division or special investigation division out either. These detectives that we have in our department routinely beat the matrix across this nation when it comes to investigations and solving crimes. They routinely beat those matrix all across the country. And they do it just with hard, good police work. And just to give you an example, our criminal investigation division detectives solved another open homicide just this week. And this morning, our special investigation division took down, they executed 4 drug search warrants. Just this morning, they probably didn't know anything about them, but they did. And last week, as some of you do know because it made the papers, they executed 3 drug search warrants. That's 7 drug search warrants in less than 7 days. The work continues to happen. The reason I say this is it's all circular and connected. Proactive work leads to reduction in crime, which leads to more time for the police to do more proactive work, which again drives the crime down. And I want to say this before I leave, because I know you're going to hear from Pastor Johnson Kinsey, but we're not doing this alone. We've never done it alone. The community helps, as the mayor said. But I want to say this from my perspective before the pastor comes up. The work that's being done behind the scenes to get these young people and adults to put down the guns and take different pathways, safer pathways, nonviolent pathways, is working. It's something that was added that wasn't there before, and he has a part in this reduction. There is no doubt in my mind, after 40 years, as hard as the officers work, as hard as the detectives work, this added component is helping to drive these numbers down, especially when it comes to gun violence. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Chief Cecil is generous with his praise for others. He skimps on praise for himself. And so I just want to say Chief Cecil's done an exceptional job. So good job to you, Chief, and your team as well. But again, I don't think any of us are letting our guard down. A lot of important work to do. And to that point, I'd like to bring up our Director of the Mayor's Office to Reduce Gun Violence, Lateef Johnson Kinsey. Lateef.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So I will kind of talk about a few points. One thing is our coordination since we've the conception of the Mayor's Office to Reduce Gun Violence in 2022. There are 3 meetings that we've had that we started over the last, I would say, coalitions over the last 2 years. One is the city and county coalition to reduce gun violence. We meet at the beginning of the month. which in that room you have the district attorney, the U.S. attorney, the mayor, deputy mayor, chief, and some other local organizations to come together and talk about ways to reduce gun violence. I think that's very important when we talk about coordination efforts. In that room, we're able to deal with gun violence, either spikes or when they go down, trends and what's going on, but we all have the same information. So when we leave out of there, we all have one voice together to reduce gun violence. The next one is the newest coalition that we've only had for a few months now, which is the Faith-Based and Community Coalition, which is a room full of pastors, faith leaders in the community, along with Deputy Mayor, myself, SPD, again, continue to talk about how we reduce gun violence and coming up with ideas on to do that. The last one is our outreach efforts, which I'll spend a few seconds on today, which we meet once a month, again, outreach in these community organizations that come together, not waiting until someone is shot, not waiting until there's a homicide, but meeting once a month, being intentional about our meetings and ways of how we can coordinate and have efforts to reduce gun violence and not just waiting till something happens to do that, but how do we do that beforehand? So one thing we've done is response. So we know we had a shooting a few months ago, a tragic homicide on Upper Onondaga. Being able to get together and responding to that with all the community organization partners. I think that's very important for young people in the community to see us all coming together, working together as one, to make sure people know that we care, that we see you, that we understand that you're hurt. We understand that something happened that was traumatic, but to see all these organizations come together as one, and then not waiting just as something happening, but having proximity. These organizations, we've done outreach beyond just waiting for a homicide to happen, but when it's time to get out there in areas that we call our hot spots, or areas where we know crime been happening, and they canvass. One statistic is that SNUG has doubled their canvassing in areas, in their hotspot areas. So not only are they going out there when it's an issue, but canvassing happens when there's nothing going on, finding those areas where people are needed. So what we are seeing is our trend is to make sure that people know that we see them, that young people know that we care for them and that we want better for them. And we're not just waiting to something to happen. Last thing I'll say, which is a very important thing, there's been a lot of question about our youth and what is going on and what are we doing with our young people. Well, we have what's called custom notifications, where we get together with Syracuse Police Department. We find out individuals, young people, most likely 14 to 15 years old, that have somehow been involved with gun violence or have been on social media showing firearms. We are getting a list of those names, and we're actually going to their door, meeting with their parents, meeting with the student or children, and that's along with SPD, probation, Syracuse City School District officials to meet with the young people, find out what's going on with them. I will say this, that anybody that's watching, you have a kid, you know they're involved in some kind of way and they have a gun, call our offices. We want to get guns off the street, and we want to get guns out of the hands of young people. 14 to 15-year-olds should not be around firearms at all. So if you're a parent and you feel that our home is not safe, there is an issue here, we want to make sure we can come talk to you. And it does not always just have to be police. If you want my office to come, we can come have a conversation, but we want to get that gun out of your home. That's how we reduce gun violence, especially with our young people. So the question continues, what are we doing? There are services, they're mentoring. So when we go to the door, it's not a punitive information we're giving them, but we're telling them, hey, we want to help you. We have programming, we have outreach organizations that's willing to help. Chief talked a little bit about our office and the work that we're doing. It wouldn't be an office without the organizations that's doing the work. It would not be an office without those boots on the ground every day, those what we call credible messengers or mentors that's every day that's out helping young people right now, today, at this time. There's somebody that's talking to a young person right now that can change their life. So I really want to take this a minute to thank those organizations, Mayor, for the work that they have done. Without them, those are the heroes we don't hear about, we don't see them on camera, but they're the one that's actually doing the work. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Great.
Yep.
Thanks, Latif. again, really want to credit Lateef for being, I think the analogy we used the other day was offensive coordinator, quarterback is another. But again, there's a lot of really good people and organizations doing really good work. I think Lateef and his office have really, again, built a stronger system and ecosystem really of gun violence reduction efforts. Also wanted to mention a few other examples that I think all of this has been building up towards. Certainly, Lateef mentioned the school district. They are an active partner. Just because school is out doesn't mean the district is not at the table. They are, and we're already in close coordination as we get towards the first day of school. So the district's a critical partner. Our Parks Department has had programming going on all summer for kids and adults, and it makes a difference. The Police Athletic Activities League, again, programming all summer. Our Summer Youth Employment Program has put hundreds, if not more than 1,000 kids, young people to work this summer, where they've been able to earn a living, gain valuable skills that they can use to advance both their academic and their professional careers. So again, a lot of really good work going on, a lot of important work still to be done. I want to shift gears and talk about safety again, but within a different context, and that's traffic safety. So if anyone has been paying attention to the news in recent weeks, we've seen some really horrific tragedies, individuals that have been killed, being hit by vehicles, whether they be trucks or cars. It's a problem. It is a real problem here in the city of Syracuse. Again, not limited to the city, but one that we're taking very seriously. The most recent incident involved a 7-year-old child, and again, that is unacceptable. Those incidents and those trends have been what led us down the path towards becoming a Vision Zero community, and have led to a lot of our traffic enforcement and traffic safety measures. The one specifically I just want to give a quick update, given how close we are to the first day of school, is on our school zone automated traffic enforcement. So as a reminder, there are really 3 components of the program. There are the bus stop arm cameras, which we deployed in the spring and have been operational since then. And of course, as school gets started again, we'll see a lot more buses on the streets. Additionally, our 2 other phases are going to be rolling out in the coming weeks. So it is our goal to have most, if not all, of our school zone speeding cameras fully operational by the first day of school on September 3rd. And we will begin rolling out our red light traffic cameras as well around that time. It will be rolled out over the course of weeks and months ahead, so they won't all go on at once. But again, all of these tools are intended to be force multipliers to assist SPD and our other partners in ensuring safety on our streets. Again, ultimately, they're intended to protect people in our community, but especially the reason we have focused so much on schools and school zones is to protect our most vulnerable population, our young people. Those, again, bus stop armors fully operational, bus stop arm cameras, speeding cameras rolled out on September 3rd, as well as the beginning of the red light cameras. So as a reminder, or maybe for the first time, it's important to know all of the rules governing these programs are made by New York State and have been adopted here. So in the case of the school zone speed cameras and the red light cameras, the violation is a $50 ticket. It also includes, if not paid, a $25 penalty. Our goal here is not to hurt people financially. It's not a money grab. And accordingly, part of the process is including a warning period where for the first 60 days from the rollout on September 3rd, people will be getting warnings. If you're caught by one of our cameras speeding in a school zone or running a red light, both of which you shouldn't do, you will get a warning before you get a ticket for 60 days. After that 60-day notice, those warnings combined with a robust public communications plan, we will begin ticketing after that. And again, we would be very happy if we didn't issue any tickets, but what we've seen both on the streets here locally as well as other communities that have deployed these programs, tickets will be written. The good news is we don't see a high recidivism rate where usually once people get a ticket, they get the message. And again, that's the goal. That's the objective. So stay tuned for more information there. I want to say, this might seem pretty simple. You throw some cameras up and you're done. This is among the most significant and labor-intensive program that the city has undertaken in many years. It involves infrastructure in the right of way. It involves the police department. It involves our municipal violations bureau. It involves making sure that we have appropriate staffing. It is a major undertaking, and because of that, it's important to manage everyone's expectations that this is a pilot program, and we're learning every step of the way. And so, depending on what we learn, we reserve the right to modify our approach, modify the time frame. Again, the goal here isn't just to get everything up and to start writing tickets. It's to do it the right way that works for city government, that works for our constituents, and ultimately prioritizes safety after all others. So again, I want to give a shout out to all involved. Leah Whitmer's here from our Municipal Violations Bureau. Her office is going to feel the brunt of those tickets and even warnings when they start. Connor Muldoon is here, our Chief Operating Officer in the Mayor's office, kind of quarterbacking this effort. Again, Chief Cecil and his team they're going to be the ones reviewing the tickets, and it's going to be a significant burden on their department too. So just want to acknowledge the significant undertaking involved here. But this administration has never shied away from big projects, and we are excited to continue to roll this one out. On the topic of big projects, I will now shift and bring up Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens. The issue of permitting has been a priority of this administration from day one. We've made a lot of progress, whether it was initially creating an online viewing platform to review electronic permit submittals and plans, whether it was the hiring of third-party reviewers to build our capacity to expedite permit reviews, or the most recent iteration, including the full online permitting system. Again, we've done a lot. It is making a positive difference. Ultimately, this is all designed to make investing in the city of Syracuse, whether it's in your home or your business, is efficient and effective as possible. So Deputy Mayor can come up and share more about our permitting program.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to recognize and thank our Deputy Commissioner Jake Dishaw and his team for getting us up and running. We are at a point where we are launching an opportunity for our residents and businesses to renovate and to do work here in the city of Syracuse. This is a huge moment in our city. Again, as the mayor said, we have heard from our residents, heard from our businesses, how do we streamline our permit process? And this is just another step, significant step in that way. So last week, the Central Permit Office launched its online portal. We are thrilled about this, and it's going to allow us to make improvements to our process for residents and businesses. And so it is going to streamline the review approvals in addition to our third-party reviewers, streamlining that process. It is going to, and this is huge, provide on-demand 24-hour access to businesses or residents who are busy running their business or working all day, but have a kitchen project so that at night or on the weekends, they can, when City Hall is closed or One Park Place, they can go online and continue their project process. It's going to improve our user-friendly experience. Users will be able to track the permit, contact city staff, and pay for any fees related to their project all online. And payment with a credit card is available. And they're going to be able to upload all the required documents. No more required trips downtown, taking off lunch or getting you away from your site, which is what you want to be focusing on, to upload those documents. And once the project is approved, your permit placard, which is required for you to do work in the city of Syracuse. If you're doing work, construction work, go through the process because you have to have a permit. You'll be able to download that permit, print it, and put it right on your construction project. Huge online capabilities for us to be able to streamline and be more flexible for the needs of businesses and residents. Slide 2, we have many different permit types, your mind would be blown at how many permits are required by us. But we categorize them into two areas: residential, which is 1 and 2 family dwellings, and then commercial, which can be a combination of multifamily, that's 3 or above units, mixed use, or commercial. And so residential and commercial. And a quick search of permits on our website brings applicants to a page where they can apply for residential and commercial permits. And it just is going to make it more easier. And so Greg is helping me to demonstrate. So if you see in the commercial, if he clicks on that, and it's going to work, yes. So you'll be able to learn the process as Greg scrolls down of what permits are required for a commercial project. You'll see all of them there. If Greg clicked on that, what it's going to take you to at this point is that page. You must create an account. And that is how we are able to get all of the information needed to do everything that I just described and be interactive with us. Let's go to residential, Greg. And so we go to our residential construction permits, and drum roll. Greg's going to scroll down to show you just how many different projects and permit requirements there are when it comes to residential, from roofing to, I just had a conversation with a friend of mine about building a deck and said, please follow the process and build the deck appropriately. And so these are so many different areas that you'll be able to go on. We're really excited about this. Again, I cannot give, and Jake will say, don't point to me, point to my team, but just to be able to get us to this point where we are flexible, fluid, and accessible to construction and building. As our city grows, we have to grow with our ability to serve our constituencies. And so we are really excited about this. I'm gonna be around. Jake, more importantly, is gonna be around answering questions about this, but it is online and ready to go now. Further down the line, we're also going to get into right-of-way permits and also zoning. But right now, if you're engaged in a project, you can go online and start this. And we're eagerly waiting to hear feedback about how this is going and how people really enjoy this product that we've created. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Last year we had the highest permitted construction value on record in the city. So this could not have come at a more crucial time as our community continues to prepare for really historic growth between Micron and all the other exciting investments that are happening here. So again, whether you are a global company or a homeowner on any side of town, we want you to be able to use this process and ultimately invest in the city. So again, great job to the Deputy Mayor, to Jake, to his entire team, and we're really excited to see what comes of it. I'm going to go back to, I mentioned kind of big, significant undertakings in city government. We talked about one that we're currently in the midst of with automated enforcement. We've talked about permitting, which has, again, been ongoing. And certainly, we've spent a lot of time over the past couple of years talking about trash and recycling. At this point, I think everyone's figured out the system. Maybe you still forget which week you're on for your recycling, but you can go on our website and look that up real time. But bringing everyone back to the beginning when we started this project, there were a number of reasons why we wanted to do it. But the most important one was worker safety. We had significant injuries coming out of DPW at a disproportionate rate when looking at other parts of city government. And that simply, it wasn't good for our workers, it wasn't good for our operations, and ultimately it wasn't good for our constituents. So we have some data now that shows how significant the impact of our new trash and recycling cart system is. So looking at the data, in 2022, 41% of shoulder injuries when compared to other city departments were made up by the Division of Sanitation. That was 17 incidents, and of which 7 incidents needing time off. Fast forward to last year, 2024, it represented 3%, sanitation worker shoulder injuries represented 3% of all the injuries, costing a total of $257, limited to 2 incidents, none of which required time off for the worker. So again, the proof is in the data. It's here for all to see. It's undeniable, and it really just goes to show that this program has benefited the city in many ways, but none more significant than its impact on our workers, which again impacts their quality of life and ability to do their job. It has a significant financial impact to the city, and again, we're really proud of it. We're really happy for our workers that they're doing so much better. Last topic I want to bring up, also related to DPW, although not exclusive to DPW, is commercial driver's licenses, CDLs. Nationally, there is a shortage of CDL drivers, and we are certainly feeling that in the city of Syracuse, especially at DPW. So I know we're all mostly enjoying this really warm weather that we're having and enjoying the last days of the summer, but we are already thinking about and planning for snow. And there have certainly been times over the past 8 years when I've desperately wanted to jump in the cab myself and get behind one of those plows because we either didn't have enough drivers or didn't have enough vehicles. The good news is, through a lot of investment and planning, our fleet has never been stronger for both plows as well as other large vehicles, but we don't have enough CDL drivers. And so we are putting a call out to all individuals who have CDL licenses in the city of Syracuse who are interested in getting their CDL license. We want you to come work for us at the city of Syracuse. We're going to be rolling out a number of different efforts to get out in the community, to make sure people are aware of the opportunities, to make sure people are aware of the training that's available to get your CDL. This is a perfect example of where if you're talking to a family member or friend and they're complaining that the job market is tight or that they're looking for a change in jobs or careers, this is an example where there's an immediate need, both here in the city of Syracuse and far beyond us. And so, again, we want people to consider applying to work for the city of Syracuse. People that are interested with their CDL license, or even those that aren't, that are interested in working for the city, you can go to our website, syr.gov/work-for-Syracuse. So again, calling all CDL drivers, city of Syracuse is hiring, and winter is coming. Thank you all so much for your time. We are happy to answer questions, either anything that we covered in the briefing or things that we didn't.
Yeah, this question is for the police department. Is the police department concerned at all about pedestrian safety during such a busy and historical construction period around the city? We've had 3 pedestrian deaths involving dump trucks. Is the city doing anything to ensure walk bikers are safe while sharing the streets with heavy construction vehicles?
Yeah, well, obviously we're concerned by that. Anytime we see a trend, and if it's a trend that includes fatalities, we're concerned about it. We do have a plan. I know the mayor probably can speak even more in more detail about this, but we have a plan not only for public awareness for pedestrians, but we're reaching out to DOT and some of the construction companies that work and are going to frequent those streets. We're doing awareness campaigns to them as well. I know we're also talking about seeing if we can work with them on alternative routes that aren't quite as populated. So we're doing a bunch of things behind the scenes as a result of everything you just mentioned.
And just last question, would you say crime here is more cyclical or seasonal? It seems like it happens in waves, and then there's always a period of peace during certain times. Is this an observation with the police department as well? Why may that be the case?
Yeah, so actually, when I used that cyclical thing, it was talking about how if you give officers more time, they do more proactive work, which leads to less crime, and then that leads to more time for them. But I can answer that question as well. Certainly, everyone across the country experiences more crime during the summer than we do the winter. In fact, on some frigid nights, you won't see anything happening in the city. So it goes in those waves, depending on weather, but it could also depend on whether it's very rainy out. It could depend on whether it's so hot out that no one's coming out of their homes. So it is weather dependent, but you can't. In years past, I will say this: you could almost predict month to month what was going to happen, and you can't anymore. We've had some very violent crime occur in January, some of our most frigid weather in February, where it's the coldest one of our coldest months, we've had some very violent crime occur. So you can't predict it, but certainly the weather does have some impact.
Thanks, Chief. Just to add a few other points on the issue of traffic safety and specifically some of these incidents involving construction vehicles. There's a lot of construction going on around Syracuse and throughout the region. I don't have to tell anybody that. I'm hearing about it. I think everybody's hearing about it. That is something that we're going to have to get used to because a growing city experiences construction. It doesn't make it easy or fun, but it's critical to achieving our goals as a community. So it's something that we have to get used to, which means people need to adapt their behaviors, whether it's planning for more time to get to where you want to go, but also being more aware of your surroundings, whether you're driving, walking, riding a bike. Everyone needs to do their part to keep our streets safe. And we're certainly working on public education and communicating that both internally and externally. We have been in touch in light of the recent accidents directly with New York State DOT, as well as some of our other partners. We're looking at what SPD can do in terms of additional traffic enforcement. I mentioned our Vision Zero efforts. We have a Vision Zero plan that has been years in the making that is on the Common Council agenda right now, which lays out exactly what we're talking about, a strategy to eliminate traffic fatalities and serious injuries. We have that plan. We want the council to adopt it and formalize our commitment and memorialize our commitment to this, but it's never been more important, and there's a lot of good work being done, but much more to be done. So it is foremost on all of our minds right now.
I have one for Chief.
Sure.
It's been about a month since police presence was increased in Armory Square. Have you seen any major changes because of that increased presence by chance?
Oh yeah, the major changes, we addressed that concern that was down there, meaning the early morning block parties that were occurring. Almost as soon as we put that extra footprint down there, the mayor approved extra officers. The past few weekends have been very, very quiet and no block parties. So yes, we've seen an impact, and it's all been positive.
And is there any chance that could be going away, or is that going to be staying for good here? Is there a timeline for that possibly not being there anymore?
Yeah, so we talk about it each week. Each week that goes by, I confer with the mayor and certainly the captain that works the detail to talk about whether we can pull back and draw down on those numbers. As it stands right now, the number is still the same. We have the same footprint down there as we did several weeks ago, but we do talk about that all the time because it is quiet down there now, but we don't want to pull out too soon.
Yeah, if I could just add to that, I think a couple important notes there. Number one is that the Armory Square detail has been in existence for many years. What you've seen in recent weeks is a surge in that detail. It's an expanded detail that includes both Syracuse Police as well as a number of other agencies. And again, it's important to know why we did that. We did that in response to business owner concerns about these large gatherings after hours. They were being proactive in communicating their concerns to us before something really bad happened, and we were being proactive in addressing those things before anything really bad happened. So I think it's important to note that this wasn't the result of this extremely dangerous situation in Armory Square, especially during business hours. This was a result of seeing certain activities that could have led to something bad happening, but because of the good work of the business owners and of the Syracuse Police Department and our partners, nothing bad happened. What else? We good? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your summer. See you all soon. Stay safe.